First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for everybody that took time out of their day, out of their work day, out of their busy schedule to be with all of us this evening. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see some faces that I don't know very well. I hope that over the next few hours we'll come acquainted with one another, and I hope that you have questions formulating in your mind for the panel that is about to be brought on stage. This is an environment of peace, so I would like everybody to please stand right here. Because we are so peaceful and we're so united with one another, I want you to reach your hand out to someone you don't know in the audience and shake their hand. Say hello and introduce yourself. Someone next to you. Thank you very much. My name is Felipe Coronel. Everyone knows me as Immortal. Over the years, I've had a very successful career as an independent hip-hop artist, as a revolutionary activist, as a farmer, as a brother to many of my brothers. And I've been forced to be in this struggle. It was not something that I woke up one day and decided, oh yeah, I'll pick that to be a part of. My family is involved in the immigration struggle. My people have been involved in the immigration struggle. For years and years now, we've been hearing people talk to us about the law and the legal precedent of what immigration means for our people. They say to us, deport them all because we must reinforce the law. This is a country of laws. I remind those people that slavery was once legal. And if this is truly a moral question over a legal one, if slavery was legal today, how many of those people clamoring for the deportation of every so-called illegal alien that they claim we are, how many of them would probably own slaves? If you want to reinforce the law, how come you haven't reinforced all those Native American treaties that you signed over the past few hundred years, wherein you cheated people out of their land continuously over and over and over again? SB 1070 is the new version of Proposition 187 in its unconstitutionality. And speaking of the Constitution, I remind people that the Constitution itself was written by illegal immigrants. I think that the applications of this law apply to race, they apply to class, but they also apply to the core founding principles of this country. I hear people from one side of the aisle to the other on this so-called spectrum of Republican and Democrat. This spectrum that does not really exist when it comes to our struggle and our people. Their political choices are based upon a monetary principle. Our struggle is based upon the desire for us to continue our lives on land we have lived on for thousands of years. Thousands of years. I see people that hide behind religion when it comes to the question of immigration and use religion as a rallying cry for their political subsection. Because they're not mad at us wanting to work here. That was never the issue. They're not mad at having a worker caste of people that continuously flux into the country to provide a service. They're angry that we want to live here. They're not mad at our daughters on the corner prostituting themselves, but they're mad at our sons that want to marry into the family. We are so-called Latino people are the product of a violation, the product of a rape. And yet we gravitate to that culture that was raped into our bloodstream so many years ago. I have many Muslim friends and political allies, and I find it interesting that they love Islam so much that so many of them name their children Muhammad. We love Jesus so much, I know so many of my people and my cousins that are named Jesus. I wonder how many right-wing Christians have ever named their children Jesus out of respect for the deity or the God or the one true Savior that they appreciate, irrespective of which one that is in real life. The sad truth, and I tell people this all the time, is that 3,000 years ago in Egypt, if I may make a far-fetched but very important example, people used to worship gods like Anubis and Osiris. And they used to believe that these gods would bring them longer life, health, success, resilience in the spirit, to overcome plague and famine and daily troubles. And we would look upon that in this day and age and think that ridiculous, that people are praying to idols. The average white American or Latino American or anybody would say, esos ídolos, those are idols. How could you possibly pray to that and think that that is going to bring you anything in life? And yet, if you think about it, 3,000 years from now, if we make it that far as a country, if we make it that far as a human race, people will look back at America and they will say, look at these silly people. They worship the dead man nailed to a piece of wood and could not understand the most basic principle that he was trying to teach you, which is treat other people the way you want to be treated. I appreciate the fact that we have every sort of person and that we have a balance between the men and the women here too. Our revolution cannot succeed without that feminine strength, that resilience, the mothers, the abuelas, the sisters, without the doctors, without the lawyers, without the teachers. Wrap it up for the teachers. And I say that because in this day and age, in order to be a teacher, you have to make students unlearn what they've learned or been forced to learn in order to teach them the truth about their people and about the reality and the historical significance of what has been done to our people. On that note, I'm going to bring the panel up here in a second, but I want you guys to start thinking of questions that relate to you personally, that relate to your family, so that collectively we can come up with strategies today. So that collectively we can come up with talking points for some of these students that are embattled in their colleges and in their high schools. Because the first victim of racism is a racist child. He doesn't understand what he's saying. He doesn't understand what he's doing. He just listens to his parents rail on at home, watching Fox, screaming about how people are stealing his pension, while he's eating strawberries that we probably built, living in a house that we probably built. I want us to come up with a network here. I want us to realize that there are no boundaries in activism. And I want us to realize, because I heard a young woman that I felt her pain when she was on stage before, talking about how she didn't have a California ID. You don't need a California ID to have an identity as an indigenous person. You have something that far surpasses that California ID. Wherever that beautiful sister is, I want to let her know she has an indigenous identity. She has a connection to this land. That cannot be severed. That cannot be destroyed. That cannot be broken. It cannot be derailed. We must change the mentality of the people around us. But in order to do that, we must change our own mentality. And with no further ado, I would like you to give a great round of applause and have some of these panelists please come up and take your seat at the table. Clap it up for them.